Tonight we delve into the chilling depths of true horror that lurk behind the closed doors of seemingly ordinary hotels. These are not just stories, but chilling whispers of real-life encounters with the unknown. Join me, if you dare, as we explore the dark side of hospitality, where every floor has a story and every room might just hold a nightmare. Prepare yourself to be transported to dimly lit hallways where shadows dance and every creak of the floorboard could be a step closer to terror. We're about to unlock the secrets hidden beneath the plush carpets and behind the pristine curtains of some of the world's most haunted hotels. Picture this. You're a weary traveler seeking refuge in the anonymity of a roadside motel. The flickering neon sign outside casts an eerie glow on the rain-slicked asphalt. You step inside, the air thick with the scent of stale cigarettes and bleach. The man at the front desk hands you a key, his smile strained, his eyes filled with a strange knowing. He points you towards room 207, a room at the end of a long, dimly lit hallway. The carpet is threadbare, patterned with an unsettling array of faded floral designs. Each step you take seems to echo with the weight of unseen eyes watching your every move. You reach the door, its brass knob cold and heavy in your hand. As you step inside, a shiver runs down your spine. The air is heavy, stagnant, as if the room itself is holding its breath. The curtains are drawn, shrouding the room in an unsettling twilight. You fumble for the light switch, and a pale, flickering bulb illuminates the space. It's then that you notice it, the pervasive feeling that you're not alone. The room is filled with whispers, faint and indistinct, swirling around you like a cold draft. The hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. You try to shake off the feeling, telling yourself it's just your imagination. But deep down, a primal fear begins to take root in the pit of your stomach. You spend the night tossing and turning in the uncomfortable bed, the whispers growing louder, more insistent. You pull the thin blankets over your head, seeking solace in the darkness, but there's no escaping the oppressive sense of dread that permeates every corner of the room. As dawn approaches, you finally drift into a restless sleep, plagued by nightmares of shadowy figures and disembodied voices. When you wake, the sun is streaming through a gap in the curtains, casting long, eerie shadows across the room. You feel drained, exhausted, as if you haven't slept at all. You quickly gather your belongings and rush out of the room, desperate to escape the suffocating atmosphere. As you're checking out, you overhear the man at the front desk talking to another guest, his voice low and conspiratorial. "Room 207?" he says, his eyes widening slightly. "Ah, yes, that room has a bit of a reputation. Guests often complain about strange noises, cold spots, and a general feeling of unease, but don't worry," he adds quickly, "it's perfectly safe. Just old building noises, that's all." But you know better. You've seen the truth in his eyes, the unspoken acknowledgement of the darkness that lingers in room 207. As you drive away from the motel, you can't shake the feeling that you've left a part of yourself behind, trapped within those four walls, forever entangled with the unseen horrors that reside there. Imagine the dead of night. The only sound is the gentle hum of the fluorescent lights illuminating the empty hotel lobby. You're the night shift worker, the lone sentinel guarding the sleeping guests from the shadows that stretch and yawn in the stillness. Mike, a young man new to the job, never imagined his duties would extend beyond checking in the occasional late arrival and making sure the coffee stayed hot. He always thought hotels were peaceful at night, almost serene, but tonight the silence was different. It crackled with an unseen energy that sent shivers crawling down his spine. He was alone, or so he thought. As he made his rounds, a chill followed him, clinging to him like a second skin. The air grew heavy, making it hard to breathe. Each room he passed seemed to whisper tales of unseen occupants, their presence lingering long after they had checked out. The old elevator began to act erratically, ascending and descending on its own, its bell chiming in the silence like a mournful cry. Mike tried to ignore it, but the metallic groan of the cables sent a shiver down his spine. One night, as he sat behind the front desk, he heard a soft knock coming from room 303. It was a rhythmic tapping. He checked the registry. Room 303 was vacant, had been for months. A cold dread washed over him. He stared at the blinking light on the switchboard, willing it to stop. But the knocking persisted. Curiosity warred with fear, and against his better judgment, he slowly made his way towards the room. He stood before the door, the number 303 seeming to mock him. He raised his hand, hesitated, then knocked tentatively. Silence. Just as he was about to turn away, he heard a muffled sob coming from inside the room. His heart pounded in his chest. He slowly inserted the master key, the metal cold and heavy in his trembling hand. The door creaked open, revealing a darkened room, the curtains drawn tight, sealing it in an unnatural darkness. "Hello?" Mike called out, his voice barely a whisper. "Is anyone in there?" There was no answer, only the sound of his own voice echoing back at him. He took a hesitant step into the room, his hand reaching for the light switch. As the light flickered on, he felt a cold breath on his neck, a whisper of air that sent shivers down his spine. He spun around, his heart pounding in his chest, but the room was empty. The sobbing had stopped, replaced by an unnerving silence that seemed to press in on him from all sides. The Thompson family, excited for their annual vacation, checked into their spacious suite overlooking the bustling city. The parents, eager to unwind, unpacked while their two young children, Lily and Ethan, darted around the room, their laughter echoing off the high ceilings. The suite, with its adjoining rooms and luxurious amenities, seemed like the perfect place to make happy memories. But as the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the cityscape, a subtle shift occurred. The playful atmosphere dissipated, replaced by an unsettling chill that permeated the air. It began subtly. Lily, usually a sound sleeper, began waking up in the middle of the night, her tiny face pale and streaked with tears. She spoke of shadowy figures lurking in the corners of the room, their eyes glowing menacingly in the darkness. Her parents dismissed it as nightmares, a child's imagination running wild in an unfamiliar place. Then Ethan, her older brother, usually fearless and adventurous, refused to enter the suite's second bathroom. He claimed the mirror showed distorted reflections, the face staring back at him, not his own, but something sinister and grotesque. Their parents, though concerned, tried to rationalize the children's fears. They reasoned that the change in environment, the excitement of the vacation, was playing tricks on their young minds. But deep down, a seed of unease had been planted. One evening, as the family gathered in the living room preparing for a night out, the tension reached its peak. A framed photograph displayed prominently on the fireplace mantel, depicting the family in happier times, suddenly shattered. The glass splintered, sending shards flying across the room. The children screamed, clinging to their parents in terror. No one was near the photograph. It had simply fallen, as if an unseen hand had ripped it from the wall. Shaken and now undeniably frightened, the parents tried to contact the hotel staff, but their phone lines were dead. The television flickered erratically, its screen displaying static and distorted images. Panic began to set in, a palpable fear gripping the family. They huddled together in the center of the room, feeling exposed and vulnerable. That's when they noticed it. A faint scratching sound coming from inside the wall. A rhythmic scraping that seemed to be moving, circling them like a predator stalking its prey. Lily screamed, burying her face in her mother's shoulder. Ethan, his eyes wide with terror, pointed to a dark stain spreading across the wall, as if something was trying to claw its way through. The scratching grew louder, more insistent, accompanied by a low, guttural growl that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. Desperate to escape, the family huddled together, their combined fear a living, breathing entity in the room. They were trapped, hunted by an unseen force in the confines of their once luxurious suite. So the next time you find yourself in a hotel room, remember that you might not be alone. The whispers you hear, the shadows you see, could be more than just your imagination. From haunted hotel rooms to chilling night shift encounters and family vacations turned terrifying, these stories remind us that even in the most ordinary places, the extraordinary and terrifying can lurk just beneath the surface. Remember, the next time you check into a hotel, you might not be alone. Sleep tight.